Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙍𝙁𝙄𝙈. I want to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and an end to the year that was 2020. There have been some amazing things happen this year. The planet has gone through an unexpected change in so many ways. I wanted to wish everyone out there who watches these videos a safe and prosperous 2021. It can only get better from here. A new year is a really good time to refocus your efforts, take some perspective on what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life and your career and your filmmaking. I know that I had a crazy 2020 with all the things that happened, shooting Devil's Fortune, moving to Vermont, all these videos that we made, launching Canon Masterclass. The world really will never be the same again. Christmas is a little hectic here. I'm finishing up a whole bunch of projects. I didn't have that much time to put into a video that would be the quality that I would want you guys to watch. So as a bit of an early Christmas present, I'm going to include a video from the C300 Mark III Masterclass about putting your camera on a gimbal. I used the 𝙍𝙬𝙄𝙬𝙀 Crane S2. If you're interested in more videos like this, check out Canon Masterclass in the link below. Everything is going to be 50% off from now until the end of the year. Thank you again to everyone who made 2020 such a remarkable year. Thank you for pulling together and getting us through this. I'm excited to think about what 2021 is going to hold and all the amazing things that we can create together. Thanks again. Welcome back to the Canon C300 Masterclass. Today we are talking gimbals and basically how to rig this camera on the smallest, cheapest, and most stable gimbal possible. It's no surprise that the Movi Pro or the Ronin 2, which have 10 kilo plus or 20 pound plus weight capacities, can carry this camera. What I was interested to see is that the 𝙍𝙬𝙄𝙬𝙀 Crane 2S with a capacity of 4.5 kilos that costs $700 maybe, does a really good job of flying the C300 and the C500 Mark II. The body weight of this camera is only about 2 kilos. The capacity of the Crane 2S is 4.5 kilos. You can see here in pan lock mode, what I've done is de-rig the camera, take all the handles, the cages and everything off. I have the Canon 17-55 2.8 on there because it's a nice wide angle lens. It's a single-handed gimbal, but you probably want to put two hands on it. And then I just connected the display to the anchor point here on the side of the handle so that I can see what I'm doing and even use the tap focus and object tracking on the camera to track people or things as I move around. This makes it pretty easy to do orbit shots, to do walk and talks, which is probably the biggest thing you'll be doing. And it even comes with this inbuilt tripod that lets you put it down. Now I've run this with full batteries for over 30 minutes. As long as you go in and go into the motor and do a auto tune, make sure that you have your hand on it because it tends to throw the motors around pretty violently, and if it's bounced like I have it right now on an Apple box, you may be in for a surprise. But generally it'll just stress test the motors, see where the resistance is, see where the camera needs a little extra balance, and then increase the strength of those motors and reduce the strength of the other ones so that you save batteries. So this is now telling me that it's auto balanced. I've got it on pan follow. I can change that to lock so that all of my movement is isolated. I could also can do POV where I'm both panning and tilting. One thing that this setup isn't great for is going into underslung mode because of the monitor wire. Now, a couple ways around this. You can connect a remote device, just feed into XLR or to feed into SDI, sorry, and have that connect on the side and on your remote monitor. Or or you can mount the monitor on the camera body itself. I found this even more problematic because you have extra things sticking out the side, balance is harder, and as you change, you'll see now if I move the camera over here, if I zoom this lens out, I already feel the vibration of the motors trying to struggle with this new weight. So unlike the bigger gimbals that can handle movement on the camera during the shot or without rebalancing, this single-handed gimbals like the Crane 2S do much better if you want to zoom out, turn the gimbal off, slightly rebalance again, or just memorize the numbers on the balance plate around here. On the balance plate, you have actual little values. So what you can do is say, well, if I'm at a 17 mil, then it's, let's say, 5.4. And if I go out to a 55 mil, it's just 4. So I can memorize those values and move it backwards on the balance plate when I zoom in and zoom out. Balancing the camera like this reminds us that this is actually a very small camera. It is the body itself, once you take the accessories off, once you use a BP30 battery that doesn't project too far past the back of the camera, it is a really compact, very light, at 4 pounds, fun little, almost a run and gun shoot. You don't have to rig it out like I had it in the cinematic chapter so that it's 25 pounds. The great adaptability of this camera platform is how small it is when it's stripped down. There are a couple more accessories that 𝙍𝙬𝘖 sells for this, the 2S. You can get a big double-handed rig to make it much easier to carry if you're doing longer than a minute shots. You can get a small little two-handed thing that kind of extends from the bases here and still lets you rig it with the sort of 3 triple feet. You can get 𝙍𝙬𝘖 doesn't sell it, but you can get gimbal rings for this same setup to give you more of a traditional Ronin or Movi assembly, so that you can get it down low and get it up high without having to rebalance the camera. This type of gimbal enables with this camera is an app control of your pan, tilt, and roll. So say you want to control this camera remotely, like put it on the end of a very tall C-stand, or even have it being carried by someone, you can use your app or even the other optional remote that 𝙍𝙬𝘖 sells to control the camera from your phone. And I don't mean the settings of the camera, I mean the movement of the camera. It also has the ability to let your phone control the camera with its accelerometer. So if I turn this on, now the movement of my phone tilting up and down will control the camera's image. And this is actually kind of a fun way to get some cool shots. Just make sure you turn the pan axis and tilt axis speed down far enough so that the movement of the phone doesn't send the camera flying off the stand, as well as make sure you don't drop your phone or the camera will absolutely go ballistic. I have seen some people put this in a little pocket on a hat so that the camera can follow someone's head movements exactly. Fun thing to do, but pretty limited in its application. So we're looking here at some of the footage I shot with this camera on the gimbal. I have no problem at all with how this looks, even with a cheaper lens like the Canon EOS 17-55. My problem is with how difficult this is to maintain over time. It really does work your shoulders and your back and your neck to have this much weight so far out in front of you. It's sort of limited to probably a 30-second shot a minute if you're really pushing it, and you're going to need to take a break before you do it again. This isn't really a solution if you're shooting a wedding or you're shooting a long walk and talk over a couple of minutes. Yes, you could go over to some kind of easy rig setup that holds the weight of the camera. That adds more movement, so you probably need some kind of spring on the easy rig to hold that. And by the time you've done all of that and learned to use it, you're usually better off having just got a Steadicam to start with. These type of one-handed gimbals really excel for just getting that one cool shot, that one tracking shot, a couple of takes of it, and then de-rigging the camera and moving on to something else.